Jonathan here, and welcome to Learn to Playthrough, and welcome back to the playthrough of Mansions of Madness, 1st edition, Story 1, The Fall of House Lynch. We're now going to continue on with round 11, but first let's go ahead and do a recap to see what happened last time. So right off the bat, we had a battle going on in the hallways there. Now with the flaming humanoid's head low from the first of its charge attack that it did on Jenny, Harvey went ahead and kicked it in the side of the head, dealing a good amount of damage. But the bad thing about it was that after Harvey kicked the flaming humanoid in the head, chunks of fire flew off, landed on parts of the hallway, and started that hallway on fire. So now we have hallway number 4 is on fire. As you can tell, that the fire token is still in that room. So after kicking the burning humanoid in the head there, and fire is now on the walls and the floor of the hallway, starting it on fire, Harvey went ahead and moved over to the other hallway there, which was not on fire. When he got in that hallway, he noticed the blackened footprints were going into that room of the master bedroom, so he went to try that door and to find out that that door was locked. So he went ahead and turned and yelled over to Jenny, "Hey Jenny, maybe that key that you got, that silver key, maybe that key fits this door, since the handle and the locking mechanism seems to me made out of some kind of ornate silver. So get on over here." So Jenny went ahead and tried to move past the burning humanoid to get over to Harvey, but she wasn't quick enough to evade the burning humanoid, and it ended up hitting her in the shoulder, causing a little bit of damage. But that made Jenny end up spinning around. She let loose her 45s, and she ended up blowing the top half of the humanoid's head off, dropping it to the floor. When Jenny got over to the door, she went ahead and tried the silver key, and sure enough, that's what it was. The silver key opened the door to the master bedroom. Jenny then entered into the master bedroom to find a small box that was covered in cryptic ruins. So it had some kind of a puzzle system on there. Instead of just a little lock mechanism, it was a puzzle system to get this box open. So she went ahead and tried to get it. She's very frustrated and couldn't really do that good on how to do this puzzle. So she ended up failing on that, got frustrated, and Harvey was laughing the whole time. Well, she then decided to turn the puzzle over to Harvey, because Harvey is a big puzzle solver kind of guy. So Harvey went into the master bedroom, took a look at the puzzle, and said, "Oh yeah, no problem. It's just like this." And in a matter of seconds, he completed the puzzle, and the box opened up, and he found a magic phrase in there. So by this time now, the keeper is getting kind of a little bit upset and frustrated, because the investigators are getting closer and closer to completing what they are out to do. Now, of course, they have no idea what they're supposed to be doing. They're just walking around the mansion left and right trying to figure things out. But the keeper is getting kind of frustrated. And now the keeper is getting frustrated with the fact that they're getting close, but on a different level, the keeper is very angry with especially Jenny Barnes, because Jenny Barnes went ahead and killed off the other maniac over in the dining room, and then especially killing off the zombie in the hallway, which was one of the favorites of the keeper's. So the keeper vowed that he's going to get back at Jenny and kill the one he loved. And sure enough, after Harvey had completed the puzzle, he got the magic phrase and he was ready to leave the master bedroom. But then the keeper went ahead and got a Mythos card called Baffling Voices and sent chanting voices down the hallway towards Harvey. They hit Harvey, entered into his head, and became louder and louder and louder. Harvey couldn't handle it anymore, went ahead and grabbed his ears to try and get the voices out of his head, started banging his head against the wall, thinking that that might work. Now at this point, Harvey had started with 5 damage out of 6 health, and the Mythos card of Baffling Voices produced 1 damage, So Harvey continuously smacked his head against the wall until he finally killed himself. So now let's go ahead and continue on with round 11. So at the beginning of the round, the investigators are up first, and we're going to go ahead and start with the new guy, Michael McGlenn. So this is Michael McGlenn's character card. He's coming in with 14 health, 6 sanity, and 3 skill points. Got the blurb on the back. No one messes with Michael McGlenn. Michael McGlenn considers himself a problem solver. The federal authorities consider Michael McGlenn a dangerous criminal and a member of organized crime. McGlenn doesn't really care what other people think. After his good friend and business associate Louis was dragged into the water by some horrible creature, McGlenn took it upon himself to deliver a healthy amount of payback to things that go bump in the night. He seeks out strange places haunted by the supernatural and by terrible beasts. Once there, he proceeds to solve the problem. Typically, McGlenn finds that dynamite or a Tommy gun are the best way to get results. Alright, so that is Michael McGlenn. Put him up here. So then he solves problems with either dynamite or a Tommy gun. In the case with Michael McGlenn, he's going to be solving problems with a Tommy gun. Tommy gun's going to do 3 points of damage, and it is a ranged weapon. As an action, attack a monster within 2 range. If you deal damage, you may make another attack with this weapon. Limit once per turn. Alright. That right there. And then we got ourselves the 2 trait cards. So our first one is his strength trait card, where we got strength, marksmanship, and dexterity with a 6, a 7, and a 2. So he's not that dexterous. This card is labeled Gangster. You start the game with your Tommy gun starting item card. Alright. So there's his Tommy gun. And then the other trait card, the Intellect, Willpower, Lore, and Luck. 2, 8, 1, and 4. Name of the card is Not a Scratch. Once per game, before rolling for a test during combat, use this ability to automatically pass the check unless you roll a 10. So excellent on that one. If by chance he has to use dexterity to make an attack with his Tommy gun, that will definitely help out. But you don't know which one of the cards is going to produce dexterity or marksmanship, so you just have to go with the flow and just say, I'm going to use whatever, whenever. And then Michael McGlenn, he has 3 skill points. So we'll go ahead and put the 3 magnifying glasses, the 3 skill points right here. And finally, we'll take Michael McGlenn's figure and put him in the foyer in the start space. And with that, that will end Michael McGlenn's turn. So next up will be Jenny Barnes. Jenny is over in the master bedroom there, and she is just finishing up by putting a sheet over Harvey, since Harvey went ahead and banged his head against the wall and killed himself. Then she's going to go ahead and go over and pick up those 2 items, the magic phrase and the number 2 clue. So we're going to go ahead with Jenny's action step. Now actually what happens first of all is that the keeper is going to go ahead and interrupt. And what the keeper is going to do is he's going to play a Mythos card. And the way that he's going to interrupt is that Mythos cards can be played before the investigator's turn, after the movement steps, and after the action step. So before Jenny even acts of trying to pick up those 2 items with her action step, the keeper is going to go ahead and play the Mythos card called a Reflection. And it's going to cost 1 threat token. The requirements: you have to be in the bedroom, nursery, or bathroom. And Jenny is in the bedroom. You glance in the mirror, but alas, there is no one looking back at you. Take 1 horror. Alright? So Jenny's going to go ahead and just take 1 horror. So it's going to be a total of 3. So her sanity is now going to drop down to a 7. But with that, in additional to, because she just took a horror damage there, the keeper is now going to play the insanity trauma card, Panic. And this says, what am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. I need to get out of here right now. Takes a deep breath, then screams, I need to get out. The keeper may immediately move you up to 3 spaces, then discard this card. And that's exactly what the keeper is going to do. He's going to move Jenny 3 spaces. So she's starting to freak out, so she drastically runs 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. So she runs out into the foyer and she's freaking out. And then Michael McGlenn, who's down there by the door, sees her come out and yells up there, Jenny! Now when an investigator moves on their own accord in the different spaces, because Jenny went through hallway number 4 and it has the fire token in it, it says that an investigator monster in this room at the end of their turn is going to be dealt 2 damage. Well, she ran right through the room, so she didn't have to worry about the damage. But then it says an investigator must make a willpower in order to enter the room. If he fails, then he takes 1 horror. Regardless of the result, he may enter the room. But this is on their own accord, so since the keeper made her run in that direction, then she did not have to go ahead and do that willpower save. Okay, so now it's Jenny's turn, as the keeper decided to throw a little monkey wrench in there. She gets up there at the top. She sees Michael down there and she yells to Michael and says, Michael, I need to go get something from the master bedroom. Come, follow me. And she turns around and runs back. So she knows that there's fire and smoke on the other side of the door. So at this point is when she's going to have to go ahead and do the willpower save. So we look at Jenny's, and her willpower is a 7. So we'll see if she's able to do her movement into hallway number 4 without getting a horror. So she needs to roll 7 or less. Alright, so she did get it. She got a 2. So she's okay with that. She just thinks that, okay, I'm opening up the door really quick. I can go ahead and run. So she does 1 movement to there, her next movement to there, and then as an action step, she's going to go ahead and do a run, which is going to put her back into the master bedroom. That's going to end Jenny's turn. And now we're going to move on to the keeper turn. The keeper's just sitting back and thinking, they're never going to complete it in time. I am making a move all over the place, left and right, up and down. They're never going to do it. So let's go ahead and start with step 1, investigator trading step. Well, the investigators are definitely not in the same space, as they're on different sides of the mansion and different levels of the mansion. So we can go ahead and skip that step. Move on to step 2, gain threat step. So last time there was only 1 investigator on the board, so the keeper only got 1 threat token, but now there's 2 investigators, so the keeper is going to get 2 threat tokens. So we'll go ahead and add it here, and now we're up to 7. Now we'll move on to step 3, keeper action step. keeper is starting to think here, I really got to slow him down. How can I slow him down? Well, there's no minions out there to control that are in their area, except for the zombie that's down on the basement landing. But we'll leave that zombie there. I can do Evil Presence to increase up my card count here again. And I think we're going to go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and spend one of the threat tokens, and then we'll draw a Mythos card and a Trauma card. So we got the Mythos card for one threat token. Closing in. Requirement. Closet, storage, freezer, or passage. The walls begin to close in around you. Test willpower -1. If you fail, you'll take 2 horror. And then the other one is an Insanity Trauma card. Your sanity level has to be a 4. So like right now, Jenny's is at a 7. And Michael McGlenn's is at a 6. And this is called Dementia. What is going on? Where am I? And it says, discard all of your skill points, then discard this card. Alright, that's a good killer there. Okay. Well, there's that one. So, did Evil Presence. And we're going to skip the take sample, because there's no monsters near them. Uncontrollable urges. We don't really need to do anything at the moment there. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring in the Maniac. So we've got Maniac attack. The door explodes into splinters as a crazed madman enters the room. Action. If no Maniacs are in play, choose a lone investigator. Place one Maniac in his space. And that's going to cost 4 threat tokens. And we'll go ahead and get the Maniac. So we got him in pieces here. Here's our Maniac. There's our axe wielder guy. So we can put that into the base. There we go. Alright. We got the peg on the bottom, and we'll go and just put right in there. And the Maniac is going to, you know what, Jenny's been a problem the whole time. So the Maniac is going to come flying out of this closet right there, jumps off the bed, and into the space where Jenny is at. So now with the Maniac in the master bedroom with Jenny in her same space, we'll move on to step 4, monster attack step. So the keeper sent the Maniac flying out into the master bedroom after Jenny. And since it came into the same room, Jenny's going to have to go ahead and do a horror test. So she's going to go ahead and roll her willpower, which is a 7. And that is going to go up against the horror rating against the Maniac, which is at a -1. So 7 minus 1 is a 6. So let's see if she makes it. Oh, yes, she did. Automatic success. Alright, so you don't have to worry about anything there. So next thing, our Maniac is going to attack. So he is attacking with a weapon. Then we got to find out what kind of a monster he is. So we go ahead and look up here at the top, and then we got a blue color here. So that means when we get our combat cards, we look for the blue deck, which is for the humanoid. And then we start flipping the cards to find out monster attack. So we got monster versus barrier, so that's a no. Monster versus hiding, that's a no. Monster versus barrier, that's a no. Monster attack, here we go. It says Your enemy moves with alarming speed, anticipating your every move. Test dexterity. Alright, so we look at Jenny's card, and dexterity is a 6. So Jenny needs to roll a 6 or less. Oh, that's going to be a failure. So she rolled a 7. That's higher than a 6, so she fails that one. So let's go ahead and look at the card and see what fail does. And it says, fail. How can it possibly know what you were thinking? The monster damages you. Okay? So you just go ahead and take the monster, you flip over the base to find out that there's its damage. So it's going to do 2 points of damage to Jenny, and it has 6 health. So Jenny has 1 damage already. So we'll go get 2 more for a total of 3. There we go. And that's going to end that turn for the Maniac. So now we're going to move on to step 5, event step. So we go ahead and grab a time token. And we're going to go ahead and place that on the event cards right here. We got card number 4. And it's going to take 3 time tokens to reveal this card. So we got 1 on it right now. So 2 more rounds. And we'll see what that card has to say. So that's going to end the Keeper's turn. And now we're going to move on to round 12. So the Maniac comes flying into the master bedroom and attacks Jenny there. And hits her a little bit of damage. And she screams out and she's yelling out for Michael. Michael, Michael, help! So with that, we're going to go ahead and start with Michael McGlenn. So Michael knows that he needs to move up there pretty quick. So he's going to go ahead and do his movement steps. So Michael's going to go ahead and use 1 movement to go up the stairs. Moves off to the left, looks out for that loose floorboard. And then he's going to go ahead and use his 2nd movement to enter into this room. And as he opens the door, there's fire. So he needs to go ahead and do a willpower check. So we look on Michael McGlenn's card. Oh, pretty good. He's got a willpower of 8. So that's pretty good. So let's see what he can do there. He needs to roll 8 or less. Oh! Well, he rolled a 10. And that's an automatic failure. So with that, Michael McGlenn's going to end up taking 1 horror. So now his horror is from a sanity of 6 down to a sanity of 5. And then remember, the Keeper, they just got that new trauma card, Dementia. So if he gets 1 more horror, then it's going to drop to a 4, and then the Keeper can play this card on him, which will discard all of his skill points. Oh, nasty card, nasty. So that was Michael McGlenn's 2nd move. So we'll go ahead and use Michael McGlenn's action step. So Michael's going to go ahead and use his action step, run, to do another movement. And he's going to go right here. And that will end Michael McGlenn's turn. So next up, it's going to be Jenny Barnes. So she's got that crazed Maniac there behind her. She's got 3 damage out of 10. We need to take this thing down really quick. So she's going to go ahead and lay down a line of bullets from her 45s. So we go ahead and grab the combat deck, the blue one for the humanoids. And we go ahead and flip it open as Jenny is using ranged weapon. So on top, the first one is no weapon. discard that. Then we got ranged weapon. You catch the monster in your sights. Test marksmanship. So we look at Jenny's marksmanship is a 6. Okay, you know what? She really wants to drop that thing because it's doing some damage. So she's going to go ahead and spend a skill point. And with that, we'll take Jenny's luck, which is a 3, add it to the marksmanship, which is a 6. And, oh, actually, you know what? Nope. We're going to go ahead and backtrack this. So put the skill point back because it says on the 45s, attack a monster within 2 range. If the monster is within 1 range, gain +2 marksmanship. So excellent. We'll go ahead and do that instead. So 6 + 2 is 8. So that's all that Jenny needs. 8 or less to hit the maniac. Excellent. So she rolled a 2. So she passes on that. We got here. Pass. The shot punctures its lung. Deal weapon damage +2. Nice. Alright. So she normally does 3 points of damage. So that means it's a 5, and I believe actually this maniac had 5 points of... No, it was 6. Oh, he's got 1 health left. So there's the 5 points of damage. Put that right there on the maniac's base. So that was Jenny's action step. And now Jenny is going to do some movement steps. So Jenny is going to go ahead and move away from the maniac. So Jenny needs to do an evade test, and she's going to exit out the door and come into hallway number 2. So she needs to do the evade test, which is her dexterity, which is a 6. And then it's modified by the monster's awareness number, which is in the upper right-hand corner. That number, which is a 0, next to the color. So Jenny needs to roll a 6 or less to evade the maniac. Oh, and there is a 1, and that's going to be a automatic success. So Jenny evades the maniac, moves 1 step out, and then she's going to go ahead and she's going to stay there. She'll stay there with Michael McGlenn, and with that, that's going to end Jenny's turn. So now let's go ahead and move on to Keeper turn. Step 1, investigator trading step. Well, our investigators are in the same space at the moment, and it doesn't look like there's really anything that they need to be trading. So Michael McGlenn's got his Tommy gun, Jenny has got her 45s, and a bottle of whiskey that she ain't telling no one about. So we'll go ahead and skip over step 1. Step 2, gain threat step. So we got ourselves 2 investigators. So the keeper gets 2 threat tokens. There we go. And now we move on to step 3, keeper action step. Okay, the keeper knows that the maniac, he's got 1 health left. And most likely it's going to drop here pretty soon. So we got to figure out, what can we do? Do we want to use the maniac attack card? And at the bottom it says that we can go ahead and heal up the maniac for full by spending 4 threat tokens. Or we can go ahead and use for 1 threat token the command minion and move the maniac into the investigator space to attack them. Boy, big decisions here, big decisions. I think we're going to move the maniac. So we're going to go ahead and use command minion. So we'll spend 1 threat token. And with that, we will move the maniac up to 2 spaces. So he just needs to move 1. He goes to there. And with that, the first thing we got to do is a horror test. So remember that whenever a monster comes into the same room that an investigator or investigators are in, they have to do a horror test. And anytime investigators go into a room that a monster is in, they have to do a horror test. So Michael McGlenn is going to be up first. He's got to do a willpower, and that's going to be against the horror rating, which is a -1. So he's got an 8, -1 is a 7. So let's see how he does. Oh, there's an 8. So that's a failure. So Michael is going to take 1 horror. There's 2 out of 6. So now he's down to a 4 sanity, which means he's going to qualify for that dementia card, which actually we can do right now. So you can actually get the damage of the horror to get to this number. So the keeper is going to go ahead and play the dementia trauma card, which is 4, and that's what Michael McGlenn has right now. And it says discard all your skill points, then discard this card. So Michael McGlenn loses 1, 2, 3 skill point tokens. Ouch, that one hurt. That hurt bad. Next is up with Jenny. Jenny's coming in with a willpower of 7 at -1, so she'll have a 6. We'll see what happens. Oh, and she just gets it. So she got a 6, so she does not get a horror. So now with the maniac in here, that's going to end step 3, keeper action step. Let's go on to step 4, monster attack step. Okay, the first question is who do we want to attack? Well, Michael McGlenn's got 14 health and Jenny has got 7, 10 minus 3. So we're going to go ahead and keep whittling them away. So the maniac is going to turn upon Jenny and attack with the axe again. So we go ahead and grab the humanoid combat deck and we look for the attack. There's monster versus hiding. Monster attack. The monster makes its special attack. Okay, so we go ahead and flip the maniac over and we read what it says here. The maniac brings his axe down on you. Test dexterity. Alright. So Jenny's dexterity is a 6. So we'll see 6 or less. Okay, she gets a 4. Alright, so she passes. So now we flip over the base again and it says pass. You dive out of the way at the last second. No effect. Alright. The maniac back in their space. And that's going to end step 4, monster attack step. Let's go on to step 5, event step. So now we go ahead and just grab a time token and we go ahead and place it on the event cards. So now we have 2 time tokens, 1 more time token, and we'll go ahead and flip this card to see what card number 4 has for us. But till then, that's going to end the keeper's turn. And with the keeper's turn over, this is going to end our 12th round and our video. So come on and join us next time as we continue to learn to play through Mansions of Madness, 1st edition, Story 1, The Fall of House Lynch.